Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, today's show is brought to you by Crimson Ironworks. If you need any ironworks, use Crimson Ironworks. All right, let's get right to it. I want to begin with my weekend speaking engagement down in Bullitt County. Bullitt County is the 10th largest county in the state of Kentucky, and the Bullitt County Republican Party had their Lincoln Day dinner. Rand Paul was the main speaker, but I got to address the crowd, and I think I was given 3 minutes. I ended up using 10 minutes, I think. But anyway, you can check out my speech on all of our pages, including the page that you're watching now. All right, Trump went to North Carolina. Gigantic crowd. And he went there to support those candidates of which he endorsed. Bulldog TV streamed it live. I hope you watched it with us. Madison Cawthorn, who is the Republican young congressman who's in a wheelchair, who Kevin McCarthy assailed, folks, in his district, they love him. And he brought down the House. It's very interesting, isn't it, how the public and the national media and even local media portrays a candidate, and then how they're perceived by their constituency. It's like, for example, me. I'm going to get no love from the Enquirer, Courier Journal, Lexington Herald Leader. But the Republican voters are going to love me. Trump endorsed Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz, last I saw, was trailing pretty big in the Pennsylvania race. I believe that this endorsement is orchestrated probably by Sean Hannity. Nobody's closer to Trump than Sean Hannity. And he has Oz on his show all the time. The reality of it is, if Trump endorses you, no matter what the polls are showing, he can catapult you into a victory. So we'll see what happens with Dr. Oz. Chris Rock says he is not going to talk about his slap from Will Smith unless he's paid. But anyway, Chris Rock says he's not going to pay. You know what? Rock needs to get paid by Will Smith. My guess is Will Smith, the lawyers could get between him, and Will Smith would have to write a check between $10 and $20 million just to avoid the lawsuit. What else do we got? Kid Rock. Kid Rock launched his tour with a video from Donald Trump. How do you like that? In the video, Trump dogs Kid Rock's golf game good-naturedly and says it's time for America to rock again. But how do you like that? Chris Rock embraces his fan base. More and more are going to follow his lead. You just watch. Biden elitism and disdain for illegal immigrants. This thought came to mind over the weekend. How crazy is it that Joe Biden has never gone down the border during all of this crisis, and he's the head of the drug cartel called the United States of America under Joe Biden drug cartel. And isn't it amazing how he doesn't want to be near these people? In other words, he wants to be the president of the United States, and he wants all of the fentanyl coming in. He wants all the drugs coming in. He wants all the human trafficking coming in, all the sex trafficking coming in, while he just hangs out at the White House and in Delaware. He doesn't want to see it, touch it. He wants it to happen, but he doesn't embrace it personally, does it? He doesn't want to hug them as they come across the border. He doesn't want to mingle with them. He doesn't want to have a reception for them. No, he wants to do it from that great distance, which is all the more what's great about what Abbott's doing. Biden apparently is going to go after guns again, ghost guns and everything else. You know what? It is now, nor has it ever been, a gun issue. It is a criminal issue. Plain and freaking simple. You know it, I know it. Fauci now says COVID's going to be with us forever, and it's up to every American to weigh their own risk. Wow. Wow, isn't that something? Thank you, Dr. Fauci, for coming to the realization after 2 years that all of us wanted to do from the beginning. Each American monitor their own risk with COVID, just like they do for the flu and everything else. You know, plain and simple. Professional politicians are not smarter than us. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Professional politicians are not smarter than us. And they act like it day after day after day. By the way, I'm even speaking of the ones that are on our side. Rand Paul gave a very nice speech down at the Bullitt County Republican Lincoln Day dinner about the vaccines and everything else. But even Dr. Rand Paul doesn't know more than we know about our country. And these politicians, every single day, don't mean to single out Rand Paul. I get along with Rand Paul. But my point is these politicians, even our own teammates, they don't know more than we do. They just have bigger platforms than we do. Young voters are leaving Joe Biden in droves. You know why? Freedom. Freedom. Young people, more than anybody else, ought to want their freedom. Whitmer trial. This came out late Friday, so we haven't covered it yet. 2 of the Whitmer alleged kidnappers were found not guilty, and 2, they couldn't come to a decision, so hung jury let go. Isn't that great? Good old Gretchen Whitmer. Of course, we know that the FBI completely facilitated that. Completely. FBI agent was the driver. FBI agent was the one with the bombs. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the jury looked at that and said, nah, baby, nah. Musk suggests that Twitter, because nobody's going back to work, that Twitter's headquarters in the Silicon Valley be used as a homeless shelter. Don't you love that practical way of thinking? Why not? If they're not going to go back to work, you got Google, you got Facebook. Hey, put the homeless people in the headquarters. And speaking of Twitter, Musk decided not to go on the board of Twitter late Saturday. My guess is he decided why. He doesn't need to be. Don't read anything into that. He will still use some influence to change things, I predict. This is really sad. 12 Massachusetts state troopers lost their jobs because they refused to get vaxxed. What they're saying in Massachusetts is safer with those 12 troopers fired and off the job than on the job, not vaxxed. It's just absurd. Absolute absurd. Joe Biden's sister says Hunter is blameless. Little Hunter, blameless. In the history of America, no one has been coddled, been shown more privileged, more protected against. The case of Hunter Biden is bizarro land. How he has been treated by his privilege. Bizarre. Bizarre on so many fronts. Remember Jimmy Carter? Billy Carter drank too much beer. Look how they treated him. I mean, all of these people. Little Amy Carter got some bad treatment. The Bush daughters got some bad treatment. Both parties. Chelsea Clinton, but not Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden can do no wrong. We can't do anything critical of Hunter Biden, and his sister has the nerve to come out and say he's blameless. He's a treasonous little spoiled punk, drug addict, sex addict. By the way, there are some things that sum it all up. Hunter Biden had inappropriate pictures of his niece. Hunter Biden took on his brother's widow. Says it all about Hunter Biden. Walgreens is rationing baby formula due to supply chains. Baby formula now. You believe it? The country called the United States of America. We're going to ration baby formula. DeSantis says we don't need Abrams to the north of him because it'll be like a Cold War, that he'd have Cuba to the south and Abrams to the north. Isn't that a great analogy? And speaking of DeSantis, he went to the UFC fight and was hailed as a conquering hero. And last but not least, they have now started taking buses of illegal immigrants from Texas to D.C. Let's see what old Joe Biden does to them. Will he receive them? Will he go out and hug them? Will he go hold a reception on the White House lawn, welcome them to the United States? Will he check out how much fentanyl they brought in? Will he check out how much other drugs they brought in? Will he inquire about their sex trafficking? We'll see. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Hope you have a great Monday.